get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Trading with Bleeves. We're going to look in on some of our projects that we've been talking about for the last few days to see how we're doing. And guess what? We've been crushing right now. We're having a pretty good run. However, the market, after having a really nice run today, not fantastic, but a really nice run today, after the market's closed, what do we get? We're getting a massive sell-off right now. We were up about $40 billion on the day. It is down to $9 billion. In fact, we are so close right now, it is entirely possible that today ends in a red candle. That's how much money is exiting the market right now. That's not going to sustain. That won't stay that way. I'll give you all the details so that you know exactly what's going on. Also, new hat, who this? And if you tell me, I swear to God, okay, you know what? Before I say this, make sure you hit that like button. And if you don't like me, make sure you hit the dislike button. But if you tell me I look like John Cena, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. Okay? I am over that one. Three people in the last couple days, because I'm wearing a hat to the gym and stuff like that, have out of nowhere, and I feel like they don't know one another. None of these people know one another. But I feel like there's got to be like a website or something that's just talking shit about me and telling people to tell me that I look like John Cena with a hat on. And I know, somebody said, well, I can see it. It's because you got the lines and your face is kind of, and then you got the hat and he wears the hat all the time. So I get it, but also shut up. You know what I mean? 10 years ago, if you told me I look like John Cena, I would have been like, yeah, baby, yeah. But not today. Today is not that day. So make sure you hit the like button on the way in. Make sure you don't say anything about me looking like John Cena, because that's going to cause a riot, okay? Because, I can't tolerate that kind of shit. If you want to say I look like Triple H, I'll do that, even at this age. If you want to say I look like Brock Lesnar, we're going to have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Heartbreak Kid, Charlie Hunnam, I'll take that. You know what I mean? Not John Cena, not Brock Lesnar. Anyway, how about Adam Cole, baby? No, nothing. Okay, whatever. All right, whatever. Duck Dynasty without the facial hair, maybe. By the way, Snap-on, I have a relative who works for Snap-on. He's VP there. So I get free Snap-on stuff every once in a while. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what's going on in the market. Down to $4 billion. We're going to mint a red candle at this point. So this is what it looks like. This is what's playing out as we watch right now. Market has been, this is the hour chart right here so you can see it. This is how it's been pricing in for the last four out of the last 5 hourly candles have been big red sell-off candles. And it's a great entry opportunity. So for anybody who's wondering, for those of you that were not in my live this morning, I want to tell you that I bought more API 3 today. And I did, despite telling you that I'm not buying any more OM. It just seemed like an easy one today. You know what I mean? Like it just seemed like I'm getting the sense based on the information coming out that OM is about to go on not a full recovery run, by the way. Let's be very, very clear about that. I think it's got a lot of work to do before it goes into a real run. But I could see it running up to 40 cents again. And I am tempted right now to just set a sell order at like 39 cents just to get the benefit of that run, accumulate it as cash, sell it all, wait for a dip, set a buy at around 30 cents, which, by the way, my DCA is 32 cents at this point. So if I were to do that, by the way, it's 32 cents on KCEX. On the week's exchange, my DCA there is 21 cents. So at 21.7, which is trading at right now, I'm already in profit. So, you know, I don't know that this is what I'm not sure yet if that's what I'm going to do, but I think it really feels like just take your money at 40 cents and expect to see a dip on OM. So that might be what I end up doing. So I'll let you know if I decide to change the strategy. Also, starting to reverse a little bit. We're up about 2 billion from when we talked just a moment ago about it coming down. But we were up 9 billion at the start of the show. We're up 5 billion on the day. So I got a feeling we're going to mint a red candle on the day. The sell-offs have begun. And by the way, since the United States markets are now closed, and since most of the trading is retail and not institutional, then institutional trading is going to come from overseas, China, or not China, but Japan right now, Australia right now. So they seem to be in sell-off mode. And by the way, some of that gets obscured with markets just because, you know, since you can trade 24/7, you really can't isolate it. So when I say it's the Japanese market waking up and selling off, or the Australian market waking up and selling off, it's not necessarily them. It actually could be that the U.S. market is still doing the same thing. But that's a story for another time. That's a different conspiracy. By the way, for those of you that haven't been paying attention to the Charlie Kirk wildness that is going on right now, he has now been shot from the front, from the back, from the left, from the right, from the side, from the other side. And a military-grade sniper says that he was shot from behind now. And it is absolutely wild. Like, we watched it on TV. We saw it play out. Take the narrative of the shooter out of the mix. Take the narrative of the shooter out of the mix. Take the on the top of the building, you know, all that kind of stuff. Take that out of the mix. We saw it. Like, we saw it. And nobody until we found out that we could engagement farm dummies with different directions, we were done. We were done. So now we're asking the question, did Donald Trump have Charlie Kirk offed for some reason? Because that's how high that conspiracy would have to go, right? Or does it stop at the CIA? Wait a minute, who's in charge of the CIA? Oh yeah, Pete Hegseth. So who does he answer to? Do you see what I'm saying? It's silly, it's nonsense. But guess what? Those dum-dums, just because they didn't graduate doesn't mean that they're street smart. You know what I mean? They're street smart. It's fucking wild, man. It's fucking wild. To be fair here, guys, I just want you to know, to me, this is a disrespect to the legacy and the memory of Charlie Kirk, that these people think that they're coming up with some ridiculous nonsense over and over again. And by the way, that doesn't mean that I would say that we should buy whatever the narrative is. But let's remember who's in charge. Let's remember where does the buck stop? Well, the buck doesn't stop with Donald Trump. The buck stops with everybody but Donald Trump. But you get my point. Like, if something like this is happening, there's only one person who could be at the wheel. All of this stuff's not going to happen without the knowledge of the people in charge. So it's weird. It's weird. So anyway, let's get into it. This is where we are. This is what's going on in the market. Bitcoin ran up to 117,900, rejected at 117,962 today, and has since started its run back down, back down, back down. Remember, this was where we went. This was our entry position. We didn't get that. We got that exit move up there to the top. And then we broke out above. This is the hourly, by the way. We broke out above and now we're coming back down. And the question is, where does it go next? And, you know, to be fair, this is looking pretty bullish. When I check it right here, like, you know, it's looking pretty, it's looking like we're headed in an upward fashion. Okay. This is heading upwards. So I think we're pretty bullish right now. If we drop down into the 115 range again, I think we're still pretty bullish on Bitcoin. I don't think that the rally's over. The rally is certainly not done. I think it should be, if you look at some people saying that this is over, that we've reached a top, those are the people that you should never follow because they're morons. Okay. Those are the people looking for the extra shooters. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. There's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. So we are in a position right now. We are at a level where we have not even seen whatever the top is going to be. There's way more top to go. We're at 611 right now. We're up $8 billion on the day. A little reversal has just happened. So we might end up in a positive day. But again, you know, we're looking like it's coming down. This, by the way, if we were talking about this and I was telling you, we're looking at this, where's my entry position? My entry position would be, let me show you right here, because that's the wick, that's the top. There's a double right there. So then we look at this and we say, well, there's an entry right there. Let's put that right there. And where are we? And holy shit, that's where we are. So we're testing the previous range right here of support from short term. This is a short term, by the way. So we're testing that range. And by the way, at some point, those ranges will break down when we go bearish. But for right now, I consider that we're bullish, which means that if we have a back test, there's the back test. That's the area for the back test. If it fails, then we're looking for this exit position that we were at right here. It's kind of in this range. So there's each one of the levels that we're looking at. So it stands to reason that we could be getting a bounce off of this range. If we do, I expect that we're going to go so much higher. So if you're setting, you know what, this would not be a bad spot to place a bid just in case. So if you're looking for a little bit of action, I'm not saying that it won't go down. I would not recommend a leverage position on this, because this is that moment where I still feel like that falling dagger thing could happen. And the reason for that is because of the volatility. The volatility is big right now. The volatility is big. So that to me means 115,000 could be the next play. But one of the things that you will note is once we've had a few runs back and forth, up and down a channel, what tends to happen? We tend to find a heart line right in the middle, and then we start to bounce at the heart line, and then we reverse up there before maybe coming back down, or maybe not even coming down, but breaking out. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that heart line, that little midline level right there, and we're kind of close to it. And that's where you get these significant sort of reversals sometimes after you've made a few moves into these ranges. So it's risky. All right. It's risky to enter where we are right now, but you've done riskier shit. Okay. And ultimately, we go back out, we go to the flow of money. Let's remove that. We look at the flow of money, which is the M2 money supply. And we put that on the daily over here. And then we look at it and we get a reasonable expectation of what's going on with the money supply. And I don't know why it's taken so long to produce, by the way, but the money supply says that we are going so much further up. So, you know, we got to pay attention to the signs when we're getting the signs. This says we're right about here in this, you know, in this move, right? So what do we got coming? We got this, then we got a dip coming, and then we got another big rip coming. So we're going so much higher. Anybody who's telling you that the bear market is going to take over, that the bull market is over, is what the French would call an idiot. I'm not even sure what the French word for idiot is. I don't know. French fry eater? Who eats French fries? Jesus Christ. What's wrong with you? So we're headed up. By the way, look at that little tail that happened today. It doesn't mean that we're not going higher, but you started to see that little dovetail coming back down. So, you know, I'm not sure what that's about. I don't know who's reducing their money supply in the world. Everybody seems to be printing more money right now. So when they print more money, risk assets go up. End of story. Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. It's just the identifiable truth. When the money printers turned on in the world, risk asset goes up. So we're in an uptrend. Ultimately, I would expect to see it continue on. So from Bitcoin, again, if you want to get in right now, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I mean, that's a decent enough spot. Again, there's a little bit of a dip there. If I'm looking at it and being fully transparent, though, here's what I'd be looking for. Fibonacci says this move right here is going to settle a little bit lower. So 116,304 right there where we were at before, 116.3, somewhere in that range, also seems to be the good spot. Now, if we were to look at it from a liquidity standpoint, let's take a bit of a risk here. We're going to go to the bull market peak signal indicators, and we're going to go to the data. What is it that I'm looking for? Liquidation heat map. I bet there's going to be a pool of liquidity, by the way, at 116,366. I bet we're going to zoom out a little bit and we're going to find it right around there. 116. I don't even have to try. It's 116,200 right there behind me. 116,200. That's where the liquidity is. This is in the 24 hour. So that's not, you know, let's go to the symbol. Let's use Bitcoin as a symbol here and see on the larger time frames what it looks like. And I bet we're going to see kind of the same thing. It's going to go down to 116,472. Gets a little bit weak when we get into the 116,381, but it ends 116,200 again. So that's right here, by the way, in what we call that golden zone. So that's where your reversal comes in, and that's where you get that bullish reversal. So the market is playing out as you would expect in that regard. So the question now is, are we going to mint a positive day or are we going to mint a negative day? We're up $5 billion on the day. Looking at the daily chart right here, we got that doji candle. By the way, if I'm looking at this right now, I would say that that is a short-term top. And I would say that that's a short-term top because you're getting that doji candle, which normally is indicative of that kind of move. However, here's one right here that ended up taking us so much higher. So you never really know how they're going to play out. And you got this big hammer over here that plays out like a doji candle, which ends up taking us upwards before another dump. So, you know, complicated crypto stuff here. Anyway, good entry point right now. Looks like we're going to come down into a red day in just a moment. So market's still coming down. So let's talk entry positions. I would be looking for an entry position. I'm not going to change this one. We're still going to be 4,300 right here as an entry position. 4 coordinates right here, 4,300. We want to put that in the exact spot right there. That's our entry position right now for Ethereum, 4,300. Perfectly placed. The next one is an entry position right here. I was trying to be a little conservative with this and try to give myself a little bit of leverage and a little bit of room right there. But the actual number down here is 218, not 220, but I'm not going to argue over $2, right? So I do think that you should set, if you're setting one, a buy order at 220 right now with Solana breaking down here before coming back up and continuing on. My opinion. If you're already holding, I'm already holding. So, you know, I'm just waiting to hit my price point, and then we're going to exit that trade as well. XRP not holding up as well as some of these other ones today, along with Ethereum starting to have that little downward momentum, and that could be a signal that the market is getting tired. If we look, by the way, at the RSI on the daily candles, look at that. It looks a little bit hot right now. We're up to 62 on the RSI, which means we've been cooking pretty hot for a little while. And we've been above the midline for, what is this now? September 8th, for about 10 days now. And that could be a reason to start cooling off. Again, money supply doesn't say that's going to happen. Money supply says that we're still going to go up, that we still got some upward momentum. So we're going to deal with that. I'm going to move a little closer over here into the center so that you can see the numbers behind me as well. You won't be able to see this little corner right here, but we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. So anyway, market definitely going to keep going. Ethereum, 4,300 as your buy. You may not get there, but I think that's a spot where we could get a lot of action here. 220 on Solana. XRP, not going to change where we are on XRP, 270 just in case. Again, if you're not already in, this is a bad position for entry. So I would be looking for at least a breakdown. 295, let's call it right there. So be looking for a breakdown right at $2.95. That's going to be the area for a re-entry position if you're not in XRP right now. If you're in Link, then number is not going to change. If anything, it's going to go up just a little bit. It's at 20 right here, $20.50. So I think this number, if you're looking for an entry into Chainlink, $20.50. And by the way, I'm doing that as a just in case. It's going to be right above where I think that bounce is going to happen, if there is a bounce. So, but look, you might miss, but you might not. You might get just a crazy dump any moment now. You know, you dump 50 billion in the market, and guess what? All these buys get triggered. And if you are, then the place that you want to go to trade, because they are the sponsor of this, is Margex for all your trading needs. If you are interested, you can check their markets out over here. Remember, we're going to do some copy trading. We will have some copy trading going on. We're going to get to near protocol in just a few minutes, though. We had a really nice, it was nice what we saw happening over there. It was really nice what we saw on near protocol. And we told you that it was coming. Also, it looks like Bitcoin starting to reverse here on the 5-minute chart. We got this little dagger that came down. And now it looks like we might be building a little bit of momentum. Again, it's a 5-minute chart. Yesterday when we were trading at 117,000. So we're dead even with where we were yesterday. So, I'm not sure yet, but remember, and by the way, remember there was a margin, there was a differential here where we were trading at 117,100 over here on Margex. It was 116,600 over on some other exchanges. What an arbitrage opportunity that would be. So if you're an arbitrage guy, that's going to be a great place to check out. I would be looking at Margex and watching Margex a lot because they seem to be moving. Yeah, 116,804. We still got a $300 or $400 variance here. Wouldn't hurt you to buy like 5 or 10 Bitcoin. Bam, ship them off to Margex from some other exchange. If you can find a low-hanging fruit exchange, set up an AI bot that does arbitrage or creates arbitrage opportunities. A lot of money to be made there. So anyway, back to Link. Link at $20.50. Sui is still in that channel. Broke out. I told you that, you need that breakout, then you need that test back down. We didn't get the breakout. We got the rejection off of the attempted breakout. That looks like, by the way, we can make an argument there now that we've got this data point. So we make that argument right there and say that we're just, rejecting off of the top of the range. If that's the case, then we have a breakdown. We have a breakdown to where are we at here? 280, 290, somewhere in this range. So it would take a couple days to get there. So break down into 295. I got 233 as a buy order sitting over here. Let me try to come up with a $3.18. That feels like a good spot to me. If we take the dagger all the way down, 313. So if you're looking for an entry position right here, about $3.10 is a good entry point on SWI for a reversal. Boom, boom. And then entry right there. So be looking for an entry position right there. If you can get that, I think it's going to take off from that range. So Set your entry at 310. Let's see what happens. Might take a couple days for this to trigger, by the way, these entries that I'm giving you right now. If you want to short the market, probably a good time. This might actually be the exact moment where you would want to do that. Remember what I told you yesterday when we got the Fed numbers and they reduced the rates? It was already priced in. So the bulls already made their money. So what do they have to look forward to? And there's nothing really in that regard. The institutional traders who are scalping one another, they already made their money. So there's no prime motivator right now to get people buying into crypto other than money supply continuing to increasing risk asset. And that is going to be done by day by day by day. Doesn't mean we're not going to get a dip, but we'll get an explosive move coming up pretty soon. Cardano, 92 cents. By the way, I joke all the time about Cardano being a stable coin. Charles Hoskinson has been putting in work, son. He's been putting in work. He's been at the White House more than almost anybody else in crypto that I've seen. So if you're not bullish on Cardano, spoiler alert, I'm not bullish on Cardano. If you're not, you're going to be just like me, and you're probably going to be just like me wrong, because Cardano looks like it really wants to break out. Now, problem with this is it always comes down to market cap. Market cap here, $32.9 billion. It's not going to 300 billion in this cycle. It's not. There's nothing that it's got working that's going to justify that type of price action. But that doesn't mean that there's not positions that could happen. Like it could go to $3. So that would be a $10 billion market cap. It'd go to 20 billion, which would be a $6 market cap. That's a 6x from where it is right now. That would be a huge move for Cardano. But it's not going over 200 billion market cap. There's nothing that it does. There is nothing that generates enough revenue to justify that. And you might be saying to yourself, well, that's not fair, Bleeves, because there are plenty of other things out here that generate less revenue than Cardano that have a higher market cap. And I would say to you, no, there isn't. No, there isn't. There's just not. So when you go look around, you're falling for a narrative. There really is nothing out there like that's got less revenue generation that's above it, because Cardano is one of the top 33 billion market cap. It's pretty big. So I don't know that it's got the ability to go very high. I'm going to say $4 is going to be the maximum range. That's a 4x. That would take, to me, a miracle. Now, let's be honest, though. Fibonacci says $8. I told you guys this yesterday. Fibonacci says $8. So I'll go with $8 for right now. That's an 8x. But again, I just do not see it. That's 250 billion market cap, by the way. That's insane for a project that, again, just doesn't generate enough revenue to justify that sort of valuation. Bitcoin as a store of value, you can make the argument that it's worth whatever people will pay for it, right? Because it's a store of value. Everything outside of Bitcoin is not a store of value. It's technology that's supposed to do something, and people are supposed to adopt it and use it, and it's supposed to generate revenue. It's supposed to make people money. So when you get past Bitcoin, you have to start taking a different eye when you're looking at these things. And Cardano, I just don't see it. But you know what I told you yesterday? What I tell you yesterday, Avalanche was going to have a fucking breakout at some point. Why did I say that? I told you guys because of Devi. I told you Devi was doing the same thing. You can make a layer one coin on that network. You can use their stack. You can use their main stack. That's a great opportunity for people, for anybody. So I said, Avalanche could be primed for a breakout. And guess what? Some bitch if it didn't break out, up 10% on the day. So if you got your entry position, which was $25 over here, then you are feeling it right now. You're up 40% already. If you did 5x leverage, you're up 200%. Take your profit, make your profit, change, get what you can get out of it. I don't know that it's going to stay there. The problem with it right now is, and it's not a huge problem, but the problem is it just moved up into its resistance area right here. Like, look at all this trade volume right here. Like, it's hitting in the spot where it should reject. And if I look at the volume profile on it, like, pop that up, look at that. It went right to, because it's attracted like a magnet. Exactly where we predicted. Like, it just ran right up into this range and got swiftly rejected off of that. So we'll see whether or not it breaks through. If it does break through, I would consider that there's probably a move coming to $39. Then after $39, maybe we get up into the top of this range a little bit at $42. The break is going to be all the way up here at like 53. And let's remember, like I said, Avalanche, you got to be incredibly bullish on at this point because it's making waves in all these spaces. By the way, generates a lot more revenue than Cardano. Don't forget that. Generates a lot more revenue than Cardano. There are major games that MapleStory, MapleStory is on the layer 1 stack with Avalanche, and their token or their coin is in their stack. So big time games. And there was another one. It's a first person shooter. AVAX FPS game. I don't remember what the name is. Now I got to figure out what the goddamn game is. But it's Jesus Christ, they've got a lot of games. Building for millions of people, connect with ecosystems. They're not. Here we go. Providence, survive the singularity, off the grid. That's the one I was talking about. Off the grid. Off the grid is one of those free to play fighting games. You've got DeFi Kingdoms. You are the commander. Build your legions of unique heroes set for glory and make your mark. Shrapnel, Domi, MapleStory Universe, Arcade Galaxy, Rune Seeker. Ooh, I don't like Rune Seeker, by the way. I don't like turn-based strategy RPGs. Like, it annoys the shit out of me. A pixel adventure RPG. I like this one. View all games. Providence is featured. Portal Fantasy, Castle of Blackwater, Social Deduction, Rune Seeker. I think we said that one already. RKL, Hatchie Rampage, Nexus. Nexus is a good game, by the way. I did some videos for Nexus a while back. That was a fun game. Cocodai. A few more. Shrapnel, Arcade Galaxy, Pulsar, MMO RTS set in the deep reaches of space, Metados, Battle Royale, Bloodloop, Hero Shooter, Off the Grid, which is a Battle Royale, Chronos World, which is an RPG. Ooh, let's check out Chronos Worlds. Oh, look at that. All right, so we're going to save that one. We're going to save that one because I might want to play that. Anyway, my point is they are building in all of these cryptos, layer one, they have their own coin, not token, but coin. And they can use their coins as gas fees, whatever they want to do. That's how Avalanche is ahead of the game. And that's why I'm bullish on Devi, because Devi does the same thing. Devi also does that. But for those of you that don't know, we did have some conversation with Devi about maybe sponsoring the channel again. And they told me outright no, because I wasn't nice enough or something like that. So probably not going to do business with Devi. So much for that. The other one that we gave you yesterday was Near Protocol. Near Protocol, holy shit, did it break out. Up 12% so far, having a nice little rip. It was up 15% at one point. This would be where, you put $1,000 in, it's 1,150, take your $1,000 out. You got $150 worth of Near Protocol sitting in your wallet right now. Let's see if it comes back down. Let's see if we get a new entry point. We start to zoom out here. We get a little bit of range here. That white line right there is your volume node. And the market usually is attracted to the volume, right? So the volume could bring it back down that 250 range from 314, and you get a very strong bounce off of it from right there. So wouldn't be the worst thing for you to take your profit if you got in yesterday and you made a bag off of it. wouldn't be a bad idea. Take your money, make your money, and cha-ching, I want to say. H-bar did not move very much. It moved a couple days ago. I said, again, breakdown. Let's give it 20 cents and see what happens at 20 cents. We're not close to it right now. So we may not get that buy. We may not get that opportunity. But again, the volume node is right there. There is another volume node right down here at 16, 17 cents. It could always break down. But that's a buy opportunity. So I would be looking for a potential there for that move. And let's get rid of the volume profile here. There we go. All right, what's up next? Sonic. Sonic, I said, probably going to consolidate here in range, going to get a little bit tighter, and then it's going to break out. For this one, we don't need that. What we need is a Bollinger Band. Look how tight that Bollinger Band is right now. Bollinger Bands are getting constricted, and when that happens, that usually means that there's a big move coming. When you look around here and you start looking at a Bollinger Band tightening, that usually is a predicator to a massive move. By the way, that could be a downside move. I don't think that it will be. I think it's going to be a massive upside move. By the way, I think a lot of people are out on Sonic Chain because, Phantom, because it was Phantom at one point. But Phantom also liked to do a lot around Halloween. If you remember 2021, Phantom went from like 30 cents all the way up to $3 in a month, like 10x. So I think that could happen here as well. Again, if we go into October and we go into a bull run and we start to get an altcoin season playing out, again, a banana zone, not just altcoin season. We're in altcoin season. But if we get a banana zone breakout, then this could be one of them because it's Halloween that just takes off and has a big, big rip. So I would be watching for Sonic at some point. Next up is going to be Arrow. Arrow is on the Bollinger Bands, not really doing too much. I was tempted to buy some Arrow today, but I don't like the position. I don't like where it is right now in terms of an entry. I feel like if I bought some right here, I'm just going to be annoyed when it comes down. So if I'm looking for a place to enter, then I think what I would like to do is kind of look at where it's been trending, and I want to test down here. So set yourself a buy somewhere in that, 93, 94 cent range. That would be a good spot. That would be a good spot right there. So I would look for a move down into Arrow at that spot. Also, Pendle having a little bit of a breakout. But again, it's just kind of matching up with that breakout that it had the other day. Still not up at that $6.27. But this is, and by the way, remember what I said before. I said that, we like to break down, we like to break up, we like to break down. But then we start to get into that heart line. So this one goes up, it goes down, it goes back up, goes back down, goes back up, not all the way, goes to the heart line, comes back down, goes back up, tests the heart line, goes back up, comes all the way down, but just misses the bottom of the range, goes back up into the heart line, starts to break down. Now it's starting to break the other way. That usually is a sign that it's about to break out above the top. So I would expect like 7 to 750 on Pendle coming up very, very quickly. That's 50%, by the way. And remember, Pendle was trading at about, I want to say about an 800 million market cap, if I have that right. 893 million today. So it was around 800 million market cap. And I think that's 1.2, 1.3 billion. I want to say like that seems okay. I think Pendle goes to 5 billion market cap at a minimum. Zooming out here, like where are we looking for it to settle up here in the range? Well, we come out here. We look at the low pivot to the high pivot, which is down here to this right here, because we don't have a lot of data to go on. So now we have to look at what is our golden ratio, and our golden ratio clocks in at $19.83. $19.83. So about a 4x from where we are right now. That's not a bad breakout. Now, if it fulfills the Fibonacci and it goes all the way to the top of Fibonacci, that's about $40. So that would be almost a 10x. It'd be about an 8x. So that makes sense to me. However, here's the thing. again, with most of these, here's the here. Let me put it this way. I guess because I'm going to fumble over myself until I say this the right goddamn way. If Pendle, you know what I need CoinGecko compare. If Pendle goes to where Aave is, I wonder what the price would be. Let's go look at Pendle and then go look at Aave. It would be about $27. So it would make sense first that Aave would be a bit higher. This is the best lender, best lending protocol. It's 5x away. So if Pendle wants to become that next big thing, then it would need about a 5 billion market cap. 6x away, 5x away. And Aave, I think, probably triples in market cap. So if you just consider how easy it would be for both of these to get a little bit of traction, and you could see that happen, and you get, maybe a 15 billion market cap from Aave, then Pendle goes to about $70 or $80. I'm not saying that it will, but I'm saying that there is an opportunity for it to happen. 15 billion might not be out of the way, because remember, a lot of these lenders, a lot of this money is going to, a lot of the Bitcoin money is going to cascade back down. Remember, this money, some of this money is going to stay in this market even after Bitcoin rips and starts to dip, right? That's when we get the altcoin season, the crazy altcoin season. We haven't seen that money come flowing yet, but when we do, something like this is really primed for a nice little growth phase. So an 8x would not be out of the way. 16x would not be out of the way, up to a 15 billion market cap. It seems pretty legit at that sort of range. And Aave, if we looked at Aave and said, well, where is Aave's maximum market cap? I don't really know the answer to that. I didn't even think about that one. What is the top for Aave so far? Top market cap all time was, it's already at or near its top. It's at 5.4 billion. So I think it's going to take off. And that, by the way, it looks like it launched early, and it really happened during the bull run, the last bull run. So yeah, this is a good opportunity. This, in my opinion, Aave would be a nice one to run. Again, 3 or 4x, but Pendle probably 8 or 9, maybe 10x. So OM, again, I'm going to stay bullish on it, except that, that's not for you. That's for me. What I think is going to happen here is I think this thing is priming itself for another run up. I like that this seems to be a reversal. Now, I don't like that broke down. I don't like that we broke out of this sort of realm here in this range. Not a fan of that. But if we move this over here a little bit and we look at it from this context, because that's where we really, now we've got more context, so we can make more sense out of the line here. So from here to here, using it as support here, then we break down. Now we're using it as resistance, and we're using it as resistance, and we're going to break above that. When we break above that, then you got to start looking at the next range, and the next range probably 23 to 24 cents. The last breakout, though, out of nowhere, runs it up to about 39 cents, 40 cents. Remember what I told you at the beginning of this show? Around 40 cents would be a spot where I would want to just take profit and say, you know what? Let's just see if it doesn't dip again. If we get some good news on OM and it causes a pump to start, okay, I want to sell at 40 cents, I think, and then try to gain my way back in at the bottom of the range here, which is about 30 cents, maybe even 31 cents along the way. And that, the reason that I'm using that is because of this top right here and this top right here. One's at 30 cents, one's at 31 cents. So if we can get a run to that level, then we're all good right there. And by the way, if that happens and we go up to 40 cents, then I would be in profit on all of those holdings. And that would give me more leverage to go in and buy a much bigger bag if it dips back down. And that's what I'm looking to do. Maybe accumulate a little bit more instead of, because remember, like I told you, if it goes to $4, which I predict it's going to go to $4, then I would make about $250,000. So I want to keep accumulating, but also I don't want to spend more money. You know what I mean? Like, I want to flip this and make more by flipping it. So I'm going to be looking for a breakout. I get a breakout. I'm going to sell into that breakout. Then I'm going to accumulate on that dip, and then we'll see what happens from there. Devi down 2% on the day. You know, when the market is pumping and the market is having a good day and Devi is not having a good day, that tells you something about their marketing. You're going to have to do a better job of marketing. Okay. And I hope to see that real soon. Like, I really hope to see that real soon. It frustrates me, but also, again, for anybody who is a Devi Maxi like me, I can be frustrated and still be okay. You know what I mean? I don't need to move my money around to stimulate myself. I have money for that. So I don't need that stimulus, if you will. I don't need any of that, but I like to see it. I like to see it because, to me, it's kind of a testament to whether or not the team is doing anything. And when it doesn't feel like the team is doing anything, that's when you start to get concerned. And by the way, the reason that it doesn't bother me so much on Devi, but still bothers me, is because it bothers me from a trading perspective. I told you guys yesterday, if I had taken this money and I had just put it into Solana, and I bought Solana at the bottom instead of Devi at the bottom, if I had done that, then I would be up 7x right now, something like that. So I would be up, you know, $350,000. And I could buy Devi with that. You know what I mean? And I'd have so much more. So, you know, I made a bad decision in trusting in this process that's taking a lot longer. But again, I'm not into it so hard that it's not going to break me, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not, you know, I'm just waiting for that $50 because I'm sure it's going to happen. Penguin says, how likely you still think they are partnered with NASDAQ? God damn it, I can't say 100% because I don't know. But let's just say I'm 99.9% sure. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best that I could do right there, is say that I'm 99.9% sure. And there's a lot of tea leaves that are having to be read to get to that assertion. I don't know for sure if that's going to be the, I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know if that makes me right. I'll put it that way. Except that I feel like I've nailed this. Again, if you guys didn't know, I covered NASDAQ in November of 2023. I did that in November of 2023. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, Devi, you know, comes out of nowhere. I get a partnership with them. I'm talking about them. And then all this stuff starts to fit. And then it hit me like a brick one day that, holy shit, everything they're talking about is everything that I was talking about a year ago. Where did I see that? Where did I see that? And I was racking my brain for a couple of days. I'm like, oh my God, I did it. It wasn't somebody else. I did it on my channel. And then I went back and I started looking at the video, and son of a bitch, everything that Devi has been saying, every talking point, everything that they've been going over was what NASDAQ was doing at that time. Now, that doesn't mean that that's the partner, but it does mean that they answered all of the questions, and they both are not and by the way, nobody else is framing this same conversation, which is where it got interesting for me. Nobody else is framing the conversation the same way, and they're framing the same conversation the same way. And that, to me, means that that's who the partner is. So that's the best. Again, I'm reading tea leaves to get there. I've had joking references from a lot of different people. I don't know until I know, but I think that this is the case. Last roundup was 3 weeks ago. They are so quiet at the moment. So look, I'm going to tell you, Penguin, I reached out to him. I asked Tom to come on my channel to let me to ask him hard questions. He told me, no, I think I answer hard questions with Austin already. So I can only do so much. So I tried. to get Tom on the show to talk and, you know, ask these hard questions like, why are there 3-week gaps? Now, for those of you that don't know, I need to obscure the name because I don't want you guys to know what Austin's real name is. But Austin is Austin wrote a book. If you didn't know, Austin Ramp. That's not his last name, by the way. But Austin wrote a book, and he's on he's dealing with his book now, which is why he's off for a little bit. So that's why you're not seeing that communication right now, because nobody runs the channel but him, and he's got his book that he's doing. And by the way, I don't think it has anything to do with Devi or anything like that. By the way, this was about, for those of you who don't know, Austin went through recovery, and he was talking about addiction and recovery and stuff like that. So his book, I guess I can actually go see if he's back yet. By the way, if you want to see the book, here it is. It's called One Last Hit. So that's what he's doing right now. So he finally got published. He's a published author. I mean, I think we can all agree he's the ugliest published author. Austin, I hope to God you see this one day. He's the ugliest published author that you've ever seen. Oh, and by the way, just so you guys know, he pissed me off one day. He pissed me off. Austin is going to owe me a gym session at some point. He pissed me off. Let me tell you something. He and we were doing a show, I want to say 6 months, 8 months, 9 months ago, somewhere around there, beginning of the year, something like that. We were doing a show. We were having a conversation. And at the end of it, he was like, "You've been working out, right?" And I'm like, yeah. And I was like, "Here's the gun show." Let me tell you something. Austin is fucking jacked. Okay. If he did his Hulk thing and just, did his Hulk Hogan and like, "What's going on, brother?" and ripped off his shirt or something like that, you would be like, "Oh shit." Austin is jacked because I did this and he was like, and he did this too. His arm exploded. Is it as big as mine? No. But also, I carry more fat than he does. I'm pretty healthy at this point, but I mean, he is fucking jacked. So yeah, we're gonna arm wrestle one day, some bitch. We're gonna work out one day. Yeah, Austin pissed me off that day. And by the way, just so you guys know, I've now lost 100 pounds, and part of that was a project that I did a video on, and it was called Run Wago. I did a video today, and I released it today as I was doing it. And if you guys have never seen it, it's called Run Walk Go, Run Wago. There's an app already available, supported by Garmin. I got you guys in. If you got in on the pre-sale, you got in at 351,000 market cap. Just for full disclosure here, you got in at 351,000 market cap. And today, right now, I don't know. Well, you know what? I don't know exactly where it is right now, but it was up 10x at one point. Run Wago. Holy fucking shit. It's at 20 million market cap. Guys, $19.5 million market cap. So if you had that faith, you're welcome. You are welcome. It was massive. Okay. So it went from 351,000 market cap at launch to 25 million. That's a 30, 40. That's a, what's that? 351, 3.5, 35. That's 100. So it went 80x. You got an 80x off of it. So make sure you tip the bartender, by the way, if that did happen for you. And you're fucking welcome. Okay. Matter of fact, let's take a victory lap here. I gave you Run Wago at 351K market cap, and it just hit 25 million MC. You are so welcome. Don't forget to tip, you cheap fuck. Sometimes you just got to remind people. Boom, there we go. I gave your own Wago 351,000 market cap, just hit 25 million. You are so welcome. Don't forget to tip, you cheap fuck. There we go. All right. So Run Wago, absolutely explosive launch. Shout out to Run Wago. They killed it, by the way. And they made me work, by the way. You should see the scripts. Like, these guys are pros. And you know what I felt like? The guy's named Billy Blanks, Billy Blank, Billy Bank, Philly, Silly Willy, where he's slapping shit on. Like, this fucking tape is going to last forever. Smack onto like water. And, you know, like, I'm rowing a boat. I'm rowing this goddamn boat here with duct tape made by whoever, you know, whoever that guy was. That's what they have you do in these videos, because they give you your script. And then you start running the script and you're just like, wow, it is crazy. And I keep talking about like they are really good. They are really, really good. And they know exactly how to make infomercials. So I think they're going to have a good run. And by the way, if you haven't tried the app yet and you do run and you do exercise, you should actually try this app. You can earn Run Wago tokens from it. So, and that, by the way, easy money, I think. You know, especially at 25 million market cap. You didn't get it at 351,000 market cap. That's your fault, but you know, oh well. Anyway, back to it. Definity. Not really sure what's up with Definity, guys. Look, I partnered with them for a month. After the month was up, I haven't heard anything from them. They haven't responded. There's another guy who was doing it with them too. Nobody's responded there either. Another one that I did that with, and I reached out to them, and they haven't ever gotten back to me, was DMC. That's DeLorean Motor Corporation. Because I thought, you know, the first car that I ever sold, fun fact, when I was 18 years old, the first job that I ever got was one that I didn't get paid for. And it was selling cars. And the first car that I ever sold was a DeLorean. It was like a 1984 or 1985 DeLorean, something like that. And I sold it for a ridiculous amount of money, made a nice big commission check off of it. And the guy that I sold it to was actually, he had just made a bunch of money. He owned his own fencing company, and he had gotten some big ass contracts recently, did really, really well. And what did he do? He came back a week later and said, this car is not fast enough. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. It's made out of solid steel. And he was like, dude, you hooked me up when I wanted you to hook me up. I've got my Back to the Future mobile. I want to buy a new car from you. Find me the fastest thing you've got on the lot. That's what I want. I sold this guy a Conquest TSI. And by the way, I don't remember very much about it, but Conquest TSI is this right here. It was one of these. Basically looked like a Mazda RX-7. That was the type of car that it was. It's a Chrysler Conquest TSI. And man, it was fast here. It only has 188 horsepower, but this son of a bitch would absolutely fly. Oh, there we go. In most markets, they're given the label of Starion ES1 or TSI. Markets never see the ESI. No, ESI. Yeah. Let's do 0 to 60. 0 to 60 was 6.5 seconds. Now, if you guys understand, back in the old days, before you had, what do you call it? Before you had like Teslas that would just go 0 to 60 in 4 seconds or 2.3 seconds, whatever fucking ridiculous time. Okay. This was a very fast car back then. This was a very fast car. DEFX has so much potential. Isn't EY helping them scale up? Yes, they are. But you know, until we see something, nobody's going to see anything. They haven't done any marketing that I'm aware of. So we just have to wait for that to happen. DMC has great potential, utility with the reserving slots. Oh, by the way, new DeLorean. Look at this shit right here. That's the new DeLorean. Does that not look badass or what? Let's close that right there. There it is. That is the new DeLorean. Let me tell you something. That is badass. Okay. This is, I mean, you got to give this thing room to breathe. This is the new DeLorean. And by the way, DMC has their own token. They are crypto friendly. They are right here, DeLorean Motor Corporation. Their market cap, very low. It's a micro cap. Like, it's not even big. You know what I mean? Average volume, 1.76 million. No, their average volume is 1.76 million, but their volume today, $2,000 in trade volume. So not going great in crypto so far. But I mean, again, like, what you need is you need some kind of catalyst. And I think that they're going to have a massive catalyst coming. Look, I don't know if Marty McFly, I don't know if they're going to do anything with Back to the Future. I don't know if that franchise is just dead and we'll never see it again. It'll never happen again or anything like that. I don't know if anything will ever happen. But the DeLorean was an iconic model. And when it comes out and when you can buy a new DeLorean and you see this shit on the road right here, that coin is going to take off. Okay, I am telling you right now. It's called the Alpha 5. DMC12 was never meant to be a static interpretation brand. Look at that. It's got the wing doors. I think this thing is going to be a smash. I think it's going to be a smash. These are here we go. These are all the concepts right now. This right here is the Omega self-driving. Let me say that again. This is the Omega self-driving. You know what that is right there, by the way? Those are solar panels to help it recharge itself. By the way, the solar panels do not help it completely recharge itself. It only runs like internal systems, and it stores it in the battery like internal systems. It doesn't run the car. The car runs. You still have to plug it in, and you still have to do it because that self-charging is just not enough at this point. We don't have panels that can work that way. Here's the plasma tail, the Alpha 5. Here is the other Alpha 5. By the way, this one right here is just a different, futuristic sort of design. It's got a fishtail kind of ending, elongated sort of feel to it. So DeLorean they are into some shit right now. And if these cars are coming out, oh my God, it's going to be incredible. John DeLorean, of course, passed away a long time ago, but the DeLorean family is still around. So this is going to be, it'd be amazing to see DeLorean pop. But it'll also be there's a crypto involved. You know what I mean? Like, there's a crypto involved. So again, I reached out to them. They haven't gotten back with me, but I am trying to get them to do a partnership with me so that we can talk about the DeLorean every day. You got to do something about the kids, Marty. You know what I mean? Like, God damn it. And by the way, again, that's my first car I ever sold. So that's why I want to be part of the DeLorean. By the way, we closed a green candle. Yes, we closed a green candle and we're up $4 billion. So it looks like we got another green candle starting to play out. So there we go. All of this was brought to you today, by the way, by Margex. Margex has been kind to me. They've given me the means by which I can start a copy trading account for you guys. It is not active yet. I gave them the wrong user ID. I didn't have enough numbers in it. Like, I messed something up. So they're going to give me a copy trading account and get everything set up for me and get me approved for it. And as soon as I'm approved for copy trading, I'm going to set up a copy trading account and I'm going to start promoting it to you guys. If you don't want to trade and you just want to set it and forget it, then I'll do your trading for you. So, and then we'll see how that goes. You might see times where we don't do trading because sometimes the best trade is no trade. Other times, we're going to go crazy and we're going to see what we can get out of it. We're going to try to make the maximum amount of cash and cheddar possible. All right. So what is XMW? Never heard of it. Let's go take a look though. I'm going to pop this up over here though. XMW. Morphware. All right, so popping off right now, a couple days ago, was sitting at, yeah, it's coming, wait, man. All right, this is an entry. I don't know what they do. Let's go find out. Hydro to hyper intelligence. I am in on any of this, but this administration is not. So when I say this, I think ultimately this is probably, if it's what I think it is here, and it's powered by NVIDIA, and it's all about clean energy and stuff like that. If that's what it's going to run on, and it's going to be a clean source, that's really cool. But this administration is anti-wind, anti-solar. They only want you to use gas. They don't even want you to use Elon's electric vehicles. You know what I mean? So it's going to be complicated for them to find a path forward, at least for the next couple of years. But this is where you buy right here. This is a chart. This is a chart where, what are you looking at? You're looking at a breakdown, right? You've got your top over here. You've got your secondary test over here. You've had your moves, right? You're looking for a bounce off of this range. You didn't get that, or you got that for just a short period of time. And then you broke down. Then you came down to your floor, which clocked in at 18 million market cap here, right about there. And you got a strong bounce off of it right here. You got a strong bounce off of it right here. And that led you back up to about a 43 million market cap. Then you broke back down, but you broke down to 25 million. So you're getting higher lows as you go. You're getting better and better. And I would not bet against this thing having a nice little rip here. You know what I mean? Like something like that would be worth $500 million market cap, even if the Trump administration is animus to it. It would still, I think, resonate with people. And I think Elon, somebody like that, probably look at something like this and be like, you know what, I like that. So he won't do anything with it, by the way. You got to remember, you got to remember, he's got his own project, Grok, that the generative AI on Grok is second to none at this point. Like, he is putting everything into that. So, I would, this is a perfect spot, by the way. If you're looking for an entry position, are they doing anything? Here's the thing that I don't know. I don't know that they're doing anything. Okay. If I look at the website over here, 24,000 followers. They haven't done a whole lot. Yeah, they're not very active. Looks like every day they were doing a little something, but not a lot. So congratulations to Blockchain Volk. Your idea of the buyback agent contest takes the prize. 5,000 XMW are yours. DM us to claim. Massive thanks to everyone who joined in. Your creativity is what fuels this flywheel. More contests are coming. A leading UAE investment firm has committed to investing in Morphware's AI infrastructure and mining operations, opening new doors and driving the next phase of our growth. Let's make Morphware greater than ever. We will have to follow a tweet on the details. So, they look active enough. You know what I mean? Like they certainly look active enough. So, yeah, I think that looks pretty good to me. I would say that that's definitely going to hit that new all-time high again. Like, I think this is a breakout candidate right here. I don't know that much about it. I'm just looking at it on the surface. But if I'm looking for a buy zone, this is the buy zone. This is where I want to get in. And this is the top that I'm looking at. That's the secondary top. Either one of those right there, 4x away and 6x away. So, yeah, I think that's a good one. But again, I'm just surface. I'm just doing this on the surface. So something like that in this market, probably primed to do something massive. So We'll see what happens, though. You never really know. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. Set your buy orders. Let's make some. And by the way, Margex, that's your place to go if you're going to do some if you're going to use a centralized exchange and do some trading. Now, I have plenty of partners and sponsors down here. Use them. They're in the description down below. Helps me out. Everything that you do that's in that description down below helps me out ultimately. So if you are interested in helping me, there's two things you can do. Number one, always hit the like button. And number two, well, three things. Always hit the like button. Always subscribe to the channel or become a member of the channel. It's $4.99 a month. If you're making money, you better be giving me $4.99 a month. And number three, get rich so that you can give me more money. You know what I mean? And say, thank you, Bleeves, for the, I don't know, for the 25 million market cap on Runwago, because I just got a 70X off my $1,000. You know what I mean? This is where you go to the wallet in the description down below and say, you know what? I'm just going to give this guy a few $1,000s because I love him and because he did me right. It's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys. By the way, you don't have to, don't, I'm not really, I would be losing my mind if that shit started happening. So we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining.